The card is not there. The President of the Bangalore Fickies Ladies Wing, Rati Mundre, respected Lieutenant General Arjun Ray, Dr. Sandeep, Dr. Parth, Srimati Agarwal, and my dear friends. I'm really happy to see so many young, dynamic, beautiful ladies under one roof, and to say in one voice that we are all entrepreneurs. It's really a proud privilege to hear this. India has a very, very strong growth story. Once upon a time, our population, we all thought, was a liability. But today, it has become an asset. If you go around the world, you will find population in Europe, US, UK, most part of the world aging. And in India, we have the youngest population, which is in the age group of 14, 15 to 25, 28, more than 50%. Recently I was in US, and when I was traveling in the domestic flights, I could see more than 70 to 80% who traveled in the flight were 70 or 80 years. Either the wife trying to give a helping hand to the husband to enter the flight, or the husband trying to give a helping hand to the wife. But today, India has a younger population. So you have to make it an asset. It can't automatically become an asset. So for that, most important is healthcare and education. So thrust, it is union government or the state government has been on health, education. I'll come to infrastructure and others afterwards. So thrust has been on health and education. Health is wealth. You have wealth and you have no health. You are intelligent, dynamic, but you have no health. What happens? So now we have told all our universities in Karnataka that they should make physical education an optional subject. When I go to the colleges or universities, and when I look at the young students, I ask him, what you do? He says, I am doing my graduation. What you do? I am doing my PG. And the height is so much, or here is so much. Physically they are not developed well. I don't blame them. Because physical education, sports are only in dictionary now. There are various reasons for that. For want of time I don't want to go. There are no playground, what they can do. And hence, today, we in the government have made physical education an optional subject. We are looking at yoga to be made optional, but I had appointed a committee under the chairmanship of a Vice Chancellor of the Sanskrit University. We have received the report. We will be discussing the higher council and make yoga also part of education. In my tourism policy, which is going to be released tomorrow, day after tomorrow, it is already on the website, 16 we are releasing. There are 17 products, and one is wellness and yoga. It's you should go through the policy. It's one of the unique policies which will be coming out, where thrust has been given on so many things like infrastructure, incentives, concessions, taking tourism to the important destinations. Likewise, education. Education, once upon a time, was the monopoly or the right of a class. It was a class education. Only who were rich, who could afford, could get educated. Because today, it may be union government, it may be state government, it may be NGOs, it may be private institutions, they have reached the doorsteps of a student. That was not a situation earlier. In my own native place, there were hardly 10, 15, 20 people, graduates, mainly from my family only, because they had to go to Dharwad or Belgaum for doing the higher studies. 50, 80 kilometers, 50 kilometers, roads were not there, proper buses were not there, hotels were not there, hostels were not there. And even education was not given that importance 30 years, 40 years, 50 years back. Because people thought it's not necessary. But today, who is not educated, according to me, has no respect to the society. So education, when it has gone to the doorsteps, where it has become a mass education, certain good things have also happened, certain problems have also arisen. Today the GER at the national level is 19.5 in higher education, where in Karnataka we are 25.5. If you go to the Gulbarga region, it is 14 to 15%. So we have kept a target by 2020, we should reach 35%. When I say education, education has to be of quality. Education should help in making his education employable. Otherwise, just you go on educating, and if you keep redundant curriculums, you'll be creating only liabilities for the nation. If you want to create asset for the nation, everybody, the academicians, the universities, people who are working in the social field, organizations like you, should have given thrust on quality education. Please understand, world has become a small global village. And hence, the competition has become very severe. Quality has become the order of the day. Merit has to be recognized. You should not compromise on merit. We compromise on merit. We politicians are more eager to competition always on merit. Should never compromise on merit. I said competition has become severe. So a student who was competing 5 years, 10 years, 15 years back, a Karnataka student, among Karnataka students, or nearby Mumbai or Pune or some places, or Hyderabad here, today has to compete in world market. Do you mean to say there are no jobs? There are plenty of jobs. But there are no skilled people or people who industry wants. It's not that there are no jobs. So we have to create those jobs which the industry requires. So industry, academia should come to Golconda. We have started there through our Vishweshwara Technical University, through our universities. We are trying to bring in the industry closer to the education field. I remember when I was looking after the industries, almost for 1 decade I was looking after the industries of Karnataka. Sometime, Mr. Mohandas Pai of Infosys then, now he's in Manipal, Sudha from NIT, so many people, 4 or 5 people came and met me and said, "Sir, why not you bring an IT policy?" First of all, I never knew what is IT policy, because I am a computer illiterate. I'm very frank about it. Because when I studied, nor I had a computer, nor I had internet at my disposal. Today the students are lucky, you see, they have got everything at their disposal. So I said, okay Baba, IT policy for what? They said, it is the future, sir, you should do it. So I called my officers. It was part of the CI department, Commerce and Industry department, which I was heading. My officer said, no, sir. It is not possible. How can you bifurcate the department? IT, BT comes under this Commerce and Industry department. Why are you bifurcating that department? I said, what wrong is there? There is a future stored in. Let us create that department. Somehow, my officer is not ready. But I still told, come on, bring your policy. They brought the policy, wherein it was the first policy in the country in 97. That policy created the IT department, BT department. That policy, as rightly just now said by Rati, the exports are about 1,000 crores, 800 crores. So they said, see, in the next 2-3 years, the exports will be 5,000 to 6,000 crores. For a moment, I was worried. How could it happen? But you know, generally we politicians would like to be always in the press, in the headlines. So I issued the statement and it came in a headline. Karnataka is poised for growth in IT sector, all that. And I tell you, it happened. It happened. We created the Triple IT. Triple IT is the baby of the 97 policy when Narayan Murthy took over as the chairman and Sadhugopalan is still there. Why I am telling you this? When things change and you have to also change with the time. It may be government, it may be private sector, you have to change as per the time. Then only things can happen. Today, if I am not wrong, exports from Karnataka are more than 1,65,000 crores. More than 12 lakh professionals are working in IT industry in Bangalore. Just imagine. So, the thrust has to be on quality education. And I said, there are plenty of jobs, but there are no takers. This has become a century of consumers, not of manufacturers. It is not a century of manufacturers. Recollect, I think some of you may be knowing, 10-15 years back, only 2 cars were available in this country. Ambassador and Fiat, okay? And you had no choice. The manufacturer or the dealer used to dictate and tell you, if you want to take or thank you. Am I right? You never asked about diesel consumption, petrol consumption, maintenance, price, color, no choice. Whatever you wanted, you had no choice. You bought either Fiat or however rich he is. So it was a market of manufacturers. Now the Honorable Prime Minister is speaking a language of Make in India. Very good. We are happy about it. But when I met the Finance Minister recently, I told him, I know your thrust is Make in India, we are happy about it, we should do it. But what are the actions you have taken to Make in India? Make India just cannot happen. In the competitive global market, what is the infrastructure you have created? Your interest rates are higher. What are the incentives you want to give? There has to be a clarity on that. Likewise, today what has happened? There are 50 brands of different cars. Before you purchase a car, you try to approach more than a dozen dealers and find out for yourself what is good, what is bad in a car. Discuss about discounts, discuss about some spares to be given free. Am I right or wrong?